The film begins with Uncle Singh reading a letter and exclaiming with great joy, "Shambhu, the permit for the salt factory has finally arrived. Take this letter and give it to Master Dinanath quickly." Meanwhile, the village chief is among his people at the pot-breaking festival, with everyone gathered around him. Suddenly, Master Dinanath arrives with his wife, and the people rush to greet him, leaving the village chief, who is utterly shocked. The master shakes hands with the people and, with his good upbringing and character, goes to greet the village chief, saying to him, "How are you, king?" He replies, "What king is this? A king is a king by the love of his people, and here the people's love for you has reached the point of worship." At that moment, the fierce beast, the intimidating boy, the hero who will perform wonders with his abilities, Vijay, appears. He rushes toward the young men who have prepared the human pyramid for him and begins to climb it, while his father and the whole village cheer him on. At that moment, someone brings a message to the teacher Dinanas, who rejoices greatly. Vijay succeeds in breaking the pot, and joy spreads among everyone. After the festival ends, their older companion distributes money to them. He gives each of them 2 rupees. Except Vijay, he gives him 3 rupees. Vijay objects, saying, "Hey, my friend, this distribution of money isn't fair. We all worked hard and should receive the same amount." The older youth replies, "No, that won't happen. You've taken your due. It's none of your business what happens to the rest." Vijay says, "I won't leave you until you distribute the money with God's justice." And the young man pushes him away. Do you think Vijay will let him go? I swear, my friend, that won't happen. Vijay runs toward him, circles to the other side, and is about to strike him, but his father arrives and stops him, saying, "What are you doing?" Vijay replies, "Father, he took the money." His father scolds him, "Shame on you, boy." Vijay becomes angry, leaves him, and walks away. He goes to sit by the large village tree and cries there. His father follows him and sits beside him, saying, "Tears will never solve a problem for you." Vijay asks him, "So what do you want me to do? Should I kiss his hands so he'll distribute the money in a way that pleases God?" The father says, "Not like that either." Vijay retorts, "Then how? This son of a swindler wants to give each of us 2 rupees and take the rest of the money for himself. Believe me, if I meet him anywhere, I will break his bones." His father laughs and says, "All right, and after you break his bones, he will hit you and you will hit him, and it will never end. My master once told me, the principle of an eye for an eye will make the whole world blind." Vijay says, "And why are you singling me out for advice? Go and advise the rest of the world." The father replies, "I advise you because you are my son. Now get up and come with me. It is not a shame to teach and enlighten people, but it is a shame to teach others and forget my own family. That is why I care for my family. And my words, my son, do not mean you should ever be a coward. On the contrary, you must be very strong and face anyone who stands before you. But what's important is to know how to use your strength correctly and at the right time. And most importantly, to feel for the people who need your strength and help them, and to help those who are powerless and make them overcome those who belittle them. If you help the weak with your strength, people will remember your name everywhere and you will become a king to them. But if you take it by the force of your arm and impose your strength on those who deserve it and those who don't, you will enter a vicious cycle and you will hate your entire life." Then he adds, "And of course, you know our anthem. Let's recite it." Vijay says, "We've said it many times, father." The father replies, "It's all right, let's say it again. I draw my strength from this anthem. Come and draw your strength from it too." And they recite, "What is life but love, loyalty, and goodness to people in need? This is the strength of the den. We must help the needy. Life is a great scene that will end, and in the end, we are all departing. We must all cross the path of fire safely." They return home. Meanwhile, Nima tells the village chief, "So chief, you are the king, yet people treat Master Dinanath as if he were the king. You must do something or he will take your place, even if you have to take these school books to become like him." The village chief asks, "When will Kancha arrive?" He answers, "He will come tomorrow morning." And indeed, the next morning, Kancha arrives to find the new salt factory before him. He grabs a handful of salt, then throws it on the ground. He looks at the salt and sees his reflection in a mirror, remembering the words of children when he was young, saying to him, "You look scary, you ghoul, you bald man." He begins smashing the mirror until his father arrives and embraces him, saying, "Calm down, my son, it's all over." Kancha calms down and says, "Don't worry, father, don't be afraid for me," then leaves him and walks away. In the evening, Kancha goes to a tavern and challenges the men there to a game of staying underwater the longest for money. The people were enjoying it until it was one man's turn, who submerged himself until he nearly suffocated. When he came up, Concha forced him back into the water. Concha extended the money to the man's friend. The friend weakened in the face of the money and took it, while the man underwater was on the verge of death. He is saved at the last moment by Master Dinanath, who says to him, "What is this you're doing, Concha? People's lives are far more precious than your money." Concha replies, "Life without money is worthless. Life is all about money, for without money, there is no influence. Believe me, money is pleasure. Take a sniff of this money and you'll understand what I mean." The master tells him, "You've returned from Mandwa after a long time, Concha. Respect the people so they will respect you." Concha answers him, "People will respect me and love me for my money. And with my money, I will make them live like kings. That's why I came back, for my brothers, my loved ones, and my family who love me. I will build a salt factory here, not a small one like your master's here." He continues, "The salt my factory will produce won't just be enough for us, but it will be enough for the entire village, and we'll export it outside the village as well." Everyone applauds him, so he continues, "But this factory will require very large plots of land. I will take your lands and build the factory on them. You will have the earnings from your lands, but the factory and its profits will be mine. And believe me, we will all live in a glory that no one in the world has ever experienced. Do you agree to be with me?" Everyone agrees, while the master is furious. The master goes out and gathers the villagers at the big tree, saying to them, "You surely love me as I love you, and fear for you, right?" They all answer, "Of course, our master." He says, "Then you must listen to my words and trust me. Do not give your lands to Concha, for we do not know what he might do with them. As for our small factory, the salt it will produce will be enough for us, and we will expand it later to export, but it will require a lot of effort and hard work from us." At that time, Concha tells his men, "We will build a salt factory, but for white salt. This salt will be cocaine. We will make the villagers use it for free until they become addicted, and then we will sell it to them, and they will be forced to buy it. Then we will be able to enslave them, and they will obey our orders." At that moment, one of his men comes to him saying, "Quick, chief, the master is gathering the villagers at the tree and convincing them not to hand over their lands to you." Concha lets out a demonic laugh. In the evening, a girl goes to the school saying, "Master Dinanath, are you here? You sent for me and said you wanted me." And she enters the school. Meanwhile, Dinanath is at his home and sees the school lights on, saying, "How can this be? I'm sure I turned off the school lights." He runs there and finds the girl lying on the ground. He is shocked and asks her, "Who did this to you?" Then he turns to his son Vijay and says, "What are you doing here, Vijay? Go and call your mother quickly." At that moment, Concha is standing outside the school and rings the village bell. All the people wake up and gather at the school. Concha's other men set Dinanath's house on fire. The girl's father enters, finds her on the ground, and asks her, "What brought you here?" She points to Dinanath and then dies. The villagers, without thinking, don't give him a chance to explain what happened. He raises a stick to defend himself, but the devil's son, Concha, grabs him by the neck and drags him like a sacrificial animal, while little Vijay runs behind them. Vijay reaches his father at the tree and hugs him, but the villagers push him away, saying, "This father of yours is a despicable man who doesn't deserve to live among us." Concha hangs Dinanath from the tree and finishes him off, my friend. Vijay buries him alone, and he and his mother are in deep sorrow. His mother is pregnant, and Concha completely banishes them from the village. They go to Mumbai, and as soon as they arrive, Vijay's mother goes into labor. Vijay leaves in a hurry, and whenever he asks for help, no one helps him, until he reaches Kali's mother and tells her, "Please help me, my mother is in great pain and I don't know what's wrong with her." She asks him, "Where is your mother?" He tells her, "Here she is." She goes with him and realizes she is giving birth, so she says to him, "Why are you crying?" Then she says to her daughter, "Kali, take him away from here." She takes him away and he says to her, "Wait, what are they doing to my mother?" He goes back to her again and was about to go in, but Kali's mother comes out saying, "It's over, my son, take this moon and take care of her." He holds his sister and she enters his heart from the first glance. Several months later, he sees Concha at his workplace, leaves his work and runs after him. Concha goes to meet Ralph Lala, who deals in everything illegal and runs an auction for trafficking girls. Any girl who grows up in the area, he takes her by force from her family and sells her to criminals. Concha sits with him and gives him a cocaine sample from his factory. Ralph Lala asks him, "Where is this merchandise from?" Concha's assistant replies, "What does it matter to you? As long as the merchandise is genuine, you have no right to ask any more questions." Concha says, "I want to sell my merchandise in Mumbai, so see what your terms are." Ralph replies, "Look at what? I'll look at your face, which I don't even like to see in the first place. Not just because you look ugly, but because you are not good on the inside. After working like a dog in Mumbai, you now come to distribute your goods here? Go on, you scum. Take your merchandise and get out of my sight." Concha gets angry and smashes a mirror in Ralph's face, and Ralph's men restrain him. Ralph tells him, "I'll let you go, not out of kindness, but because today is my son Mazhar's birthday. But if you come tomorrow, tomorrow is not my son's birthday." Vijay is listening and seeing everything that happened. They let Concha go. A few days later, Ralph goes to the area where Vijay lives. His men bring a person from his house, and Ralph says to him, "So, Concha gave you money to kill me, and you took the money?" The man begs, "I kiss your hand, forgive me." Ralph says, "Pardon is granted when one is able. He's dead, my son, and you are about to join him." And indeed, he kills him. All the people of the area are in deep terror, except for the beast Vijay, who stands with his eyes locked on Ralph's like a lion. Lala goes to him and asks, "Who are you, boy?" He answers, "Vijay." He says, "First time I've seen you." Vijay replies, "And how would you see me, as long as I don't want you to see me?" Ralph says, "What a clever one. You don't seem easy." He looks at Kali and asks her mother, "Who is this?" She replies, "My daughter." He says, "Strange, she grew up and I didn't notice her." Then he leaves her and walks away. At that time, Officer Shinde calls Concha and tells him, "The man you sent to kill Ralph found him out today and killed him." Concha asks him, "Were there any witnesses?" He replies, "He killed him in the heart of the area, but the boy Vijay was present and was not afraid of Ralph." Concha says, "All right, make Vijay testify against him before the inspector." And indeed, the next day they take him against his will to the inspector. The inspector tells him, "Come son, don't be afraid. Which of them killed that person yesterday?" Vijay looks at everyone in front of him until he sees Ralph, and he looks him in the eye without showing any fear. But he remembers his father's words when he told him, "You must use your strength correctly." He tells the inspector, "None of them." The inspector is shocked and says, "Don't be afraid, son. The police are with you and will protect you." Vijay repeats, "None of them are here." The inspector says, "But Ralph is the one who killed the person yesterday." Vijay replies, "No, it wasn't him." Ralph says to the inspector, "He's telling you it's not me." Then he leaves him and walks away. Shinde gets angry, and Vijay's mother slaps her son. He tells her, "I want to avenge my father, and everyone here is afraid of Ralph. If I work with him and grow powerful, everyone will be afraid of me." She tells him, "We will not stay here. I will take you and your sister somewhere else until you get these ideas out of your head." At that moment, Kali comes running to him and says, "Quick, Shinde is looking for you and is hitting my mother outside because she's hiding you." And indeed, Shinde was saying to her mother, "Where is Vijay, you animal?" Vijay appears on the scene, grabs him, and throws him away. Shinde says to him, "Where have you been, sweetie? I was looking for you." Vijay takes his weapon and points it in his face. Shinde screams, "Have you gone mad? Drop the weapon." His mother says, "Vijay, drop the weapon," but he doesn't and shoots him right in the middle of his chest. He leaves him and goes to Ralph carrying the weapon. Ralph sees him, and the years pass and months fly by. The police are looking for Ralph, but cannot stop him from his drug and women trafficking business. The inspector tells the press and his superiors, "It's true that Ralph traffics in drugs and women, but we can't prove anything against him because of the people who stand by his side. He feeds and gives drink to the people and smuggles heroin in the meat he slaughters for them, and unfortunately, the people are willing to sacrifice their lives for him." One of the journalists asks, "And what about Concha?" He replies, "Concha started from scratch and built an empire and an army for himself, but it's impossible for the police to let him enter Mumbai. That is his dream, to get his goods into Mumbai. But as long as I am alive, that will never happen." The minister asks, "And what about the boy named Vijay?" The inspector answers, showing his picture, "This is his picture. picture. The minister says, "Are you kidding?" The inspector continues, "This is the only picture we have of him. 15 years ago, he killed an officer, and Ralph got him out of the case. Since then, he has been working with Ralph and has almost become more important to him than Ralph's own sons. Ralph cannot do without him and gives him any money he needs. And any money Vijay earns, he doesn't spend it on himself. On the contrary, he helps the poor with it and buys ambulances for hospitals. It seems he doesn't want to earn money, but to win over the people. And indeed, this has gained him immense popularity, and all the people love him. From my point of view, he is planning something very big, and until now, no one knows what it is or against whom." At this moment, the formidable boy, the beast of the den, Vijay, appears, climbing on his companions and breaking the pot as usual. After he finishes, he goes to Kali, who is opening a new beauty salon. Vijay cuts the ribbon, and after she finishes her first day of work, she tells him, "On the first day, I earned 5,000 rupees. Here, this is your share." He says, "I don't want it." She says, "No, it's your right. You paid for more than half the cost of the shop." He takes the money. She says, "Tomorrow, this salon will become the biggest salon in all of India," and puts a certain amount of money in a piggy bank. Biga, Ralph's son, asks her, "Are you saving for your wedding or what?" She says, "Of course." She looks at Vijay and finds he has disappeared. She finds him sitting alone up high, so she goes and sits with him, saying, "What happened? What's wrong with you?" He says, "Nothing." She says, "I know you're sad, and I know you won't get married until you carry out what's in your head. But this is beyond my control. I'm a girl, and I want to get married. But don't worry about me. I'm fine, and I'll continue my life with you as we are." He hugs her. After leaving her, he goes to his mother and watches her and his sister Shika from a distance. Shika gets dressed and goes to school. They leave the house, and Vijay goes and places her birthday gift in front of the door, as he does every year. But suddenly, Shika says to her mother, "Wait, I forgot my water bottle inside." She returns to the house and finds Vijay at the door and says to him, "It's you! I've been waiting for you for a long time. Today, I want to know who gives you these gifts to bring to me every birthday." Her mother walks in on them, and Vijay fixes his gaze on her. Shika says, "Tell me who it is." He answers her, "I don't know. I just work in a shop and deliver these gifts." He leaves her and walks away, remembering what happened between him and his mother when he told her, "I will not forsake my father's right." She told him, "If he were alive, you wouldn't have done all this." He replied, "Indeed, I wouldn't have done anything of what I want to do now, but they killed him. The dogs are the ones alive, while he is the one who died. They must die as they killed him." She tells him, "If you do that, you will die, and what happened to your father will happen to you." He says, "It doesn't matter, but I will die in peace." From that time until now, he has kept his goal in sight. He returns at night, heavily drunk and extremely sad because he couldn't attend his sister's birthday. He looks ahead and sees her picture as a child. Suddenly, Kali enters with a birthday cake. They had held a celebration for Shika's birthday. Vijay is overjoyed and cuts the cake, but then returns to his sadness. The next day, he returns to his work with Raf Lala. A customer enters and says to Raf, "How long have we been working together?" Raf replies, "For a long time." The customer says, "Your son Mazhar has ruined everything between us, Raf. He wants to raise the price of cocaine on me." Mazhar says, "Shut up. This is what we have. You won't find this clean merchandise anywhere but with us." Vijay says, "Speak with respect, Mazhar." Mazhar replies, "You shut up completely." The customer says, "Take your time to think, Lala. There are others in the market selling at a much lower price than you with genuine, unadulterated goods." Mazhar says, "No, we won't sell to you, man." His father gives him a resounding slap and tells him, "Don't you ever do cocaine during work again. After you finish your work, drink as much as you want." What a great man this Raf. Raf says, "Something is wrong. Who could be selling heroin cheaper than us in Mumbai?" Vijay replies, "Concha." Raf retorts, "But it's impossible for the inspector to let Concha bring his goods into Mumbai." Vijay says, "We'll see. I have someone I can check with." And indeed, he takes the police assistant in his car and threatens him. The assistant says, "Sir, I don't know anything." Vijay loosens the first rope, then the second. The man says, "Okay, I'll tell you everything." Vijay suddenly slams on the brakes, causing the man to hit the dashboard and asks him, "Come on, who?" He answers, Concha's heroine will be at Minister Borkar's house. And indeed, the minister is holding a party, and Shantaram brings in the goods. After bringing in the goods, he closes the warehouse and goes to wash his face. Suddenly, he hears a noise in the bathtub and asks, "Who's there?" Vijay appears and says, "A party, music, dancing, alcohol, and cocaine. Get ready, the inspector is coming here." Shantaram asks, "How?" Vijay replies, "An interior minister hosts a party and brings in a cocaine deal? What do you expect the inspector to do?" And indeed, the inspector arrives with his men. Vijay tells the minister, "I can do you a favor and get rid of the cocaine in the warehouse downstairs." The minister leaves him and goes out to the inspector, saying, "What's the matter?" The inspector says, "There's cocaine here, and I've come to search." The minister replies, "Don't you know whose house you're in? Don't you know who I am?" The inspector says, "You are a minister, but I have a search warrant." He gives him the warrant and begins to search the place until he reaches the garage downstairs. The minister says, "No, not this place. There's just junk and old, worthless things here." The inspector says, "Just get out of the way," and enters to search the place. And indeed, he finds nothing. The minister goes to Shantaram and tells him everything that happened. Shantaram says, "Oh God, I must do something and see what I'm going to do." The minister tells him, "If you want a solution, kill that boy named Vijay." He leaves him and walks away. At that time, Vijay calls the inspector and tells him, "My father once told me, never use your strength against the weak. I will follow his words, but I will use my strength for revenge. I am going to start a war." The inspector asks him, "Who are you?" Vijay hangs up, puts a coin in the payphone, and walks away. His men, or rather his women, had booby-trapped the phone, and indeed, the phone explodes on Shantaram. Vijay enters and is able to kill him, but he says, "I won't kill you. Shall I tell you why?" Shantaram asks him, "Why?" Vijay replies, "Because I don't need Ralph Lalla." "Shall I tell you why?" He asks, "Why?" Vijay answers, "Because I want all of Mumbai, and you are going to help me achieve that. Not just you, but you and your boss, Concha. You have no other choice but to listen to me. Go and tell Concha that, starting tomorrow, his goods will be sold all over Mumbai. And when I meet you, I will agree on the price with you. Understood?" Shantaram replies, "Understood." Vijay says, "Smart," and leaves him. The next day, Ralph Lalla tells his men, "After Vijay got us rid of that guy named Concha, I gathered you today to tell you that I'm giving him 2 territories to rule, Bakriada and Dongri. From today, Vijay, you are their new king. Oh, I forgot to tell you something else. I am marrying my daughter, Kiranji, to my eldest son, Mazhar. Get ready, you are all invited next Tuesday." The people lift Vijay and celebrate the new king. Mazhar says to his father, "What have you done, father? You could have given me the 2 territories." His father replies, "You will take them. You will take everything, but you have to stop your addiction. This boy has worked hard and struggled, and therefore he deserves them." Mazhar asks, "Fine, if I work and become good, will you give me these 2 territories?" The father answers, "Of course, and you'll get more than that too." He asks, "And what about Vijay?" The father replies, "Then he might live or he might die." At that moment, a boy brings Ralph's shoe. Ralph tells him, "This is not my shoe, my son." He looks at the shoe and sees that Vijay is wearing it. He calls out to him and says, "Isn't this my shoe?" Vijay replies, "I'm sorry, they both look alike." Mazhar says, "How is that? Shouldn't you pay attention?" At that moment, Vijay pushes Mazhar aside to save him from the bullet. Everyone goes crazy and they rush him to the hospital. They cause a commotion in front of the operating room, and the inspector throws them all out. When Vijay wakes up, the inspector comes in and asks him, "Why did you do that?" Vijay replies, "Is that a question you ask a victim?" The inspector says, "Let's be logical. The one who shot you was holding a .22 caliber pistol, and he shot you in the shoulder from a very long distance. And your wound is very minor. What do you mean by that?" Vijay says, "You understand my meaning very well. What I did was an act to make Ralph trust me more. My question is, why do you want him to trust you so much? What do you intend to do?" Vijay replies, "I don't intend or scheme for anything." The inspector leaves him and walks away. Finally, Mazhar's wedding day arrives. Ralph says, "From today, I don't have just 2 sons, I have 3. He leaves them and goes out to the guests. One of their men says, "Someone wants you on the phone." Vijay says, "We're not available." The man man says he has information about the criminal who wanted to kill Mazar. Mazar runs to take the phone receiver and listens to the call, while Vijay watches him. Mazar finishes the call and runs to get a weapon from the drawer. Vijay tells him, "Calm down, what happened?" Mazar replies, "Shantaram wanted to kill you. That son of a bitch, I have to finish him." Vijay says, "Calm down, today is your happy day." Mazar replies, "I swear I will not get married until his corpse is before my eyes." Vijay says, "All right, calm down, I will go instead of you." Mazar says, "Never," and leaves him with Vijay following behind. At that time, Ralph is dancing and celebrating while Mazar attacks Shantaram's men, but Shantaram escapes from him, so he runs after him. Shantaram shoots him in the leg and his weapon falls from his hand. Mazar screams, "Vijay, my brother, give me your weapon." Shantaram comes out of the warehouse and starts laughing. Mazar realizes he has fallen into a trap and that Vijay is the one who set it for him. Mazar screams, "You sons of bitches," and attacks Vijay, but Shantaram finishes him off. Mazar falls to the ground. Vijay fires a shot at Shantaram's ear and asks him, "Why did you do this?" Vijay replies, "I don't need Ralph to get to Kancha, and I don't need you after this mission. And in order to walk my correct path and get what I want, I must not leave any evidence behind me." Then he finishes him off. Ralph is celebrating his son's wedding when Vijay enters with his son's lifeless body. Everyone is shocked, and the celebration turns into a funeral. Ralph cannot bear the shock and falls unconscious, entering a coma and being taken to the hospital. And the fierce beast, Vijay, takes his place. The first thing he does is release the girls whom Ralph had kidnapped and return them to their families. The people are overjoyed with the new king of Mumbai. Vijay goes to sit on his throne and the phone rings. The caller says, "Kancha, you've surely heard this name before." Vijay tries to hide his anger and calms his nerves, saying, "I've heard it and I'll give you what you want." Kancha says, "Do we have a deal?" Vijay replies, "We'll have a deal when we meet." Kancha says, "I can't come to Mumbai." Vijay says, "I will come to you in Mandwa." Kancha asks him, "Aren't you afraid I'll kill you after you killed Shantaram?" Vijay replies, "We won't argue over a mere little boy. The business between us will be much bigger." Kancha says, "Deal, I'll be waiting for you." Kancha hangs up the phone. Surya asks him, "Are you going to let him go after he killed Shantaram, chief?" Kancha replies, "That's not the problem. The problem is he could have made a deal with me over the phone. So why does he want to come here?" Surya says, "That's what I'm asking too." Kancha replies angrily, "You don't ask and no one asks. I'm the only one who asks." And indeed, the next day, Vijay arrives to find men scattered everywhere with their weapons. He looks at his father's school and remembers what happened in the past. Surya tells him, "There was a teacher here, a treacherous and cowardly teacher." Vijay continues on his way and finds that the village is devoid of any trace of safety. He goes to see the tree and finds many people gathered there. When he gets closer, he sees that Kancha has killed one of them and no one dares to speak. Kancha extends his hand to shake his, and Vijay shakes it reluctantly. Kancha pulls him in and hugs him, then takes him to the welcoming party he prepared for him, having brought Katrina to entertain him. The devil is always stupid. Kancha asks him, "Why did you kill Shantaram?" He replies, "To get to you." He asks, "And what if I kill you now?" Vijay replies, "You can't, because I'm the only one who can get you into Mumbai." Kancha asks, "And why is that? Is Mumbai in your pocket?" Vijay replies, "No, it's in my shoe." He asks, "And why did you come here?" Vijay replies, "To take Mandwa." Kancha gets angry and hangs him by his feet in the warehouse and starts beating him. Kancha says, "You came to ask a king for a kingdom? If you had asked for something else, you would have seen how generous I am." He continues to beat him. Vijay says, "Are you done with the welcoming? Let's get on with the work." Kancha says, "This is what I like about him. He knows and is certain that it's impossible for me to kill him. Listen, Mumbai is mine now that Ralph is gone, but I have one obstacle in my way, the inspector. I want you to eliminate the inspector. With that, I'll be able to enter Mumbai, and I will grant you Mandwa." Vijay hears this and faints. At that time, Ralph wakes up from his coma and leaves the hospital. One of his men tells him Shantaram didn't tell Mazhar because he was found dead there too. Ralph asks, "Where is Vijay?" He answers, "He went to Mandwa to close a deal with Kancha." Meanwhile, Kancha wakes Vijay Vijay up and says, "Wake up, my dear. Why didn't you tell me you have a sister? Ralph is out of the hospital and is selling her in the market right now." And indeed, Ralph and his men are on their way to the market. Even the police were no match for him. Vijay arrives in Mumbai. One of his men tells him, "Ralph took your sister to the market and is selling her there." Even the police couldn't stop him. And indeed, Ralph is with an army, dragging Shika to the market as she begs him, "I kiss your hand, leave me." But he doesn't let her go and shouts, "Who will buy this exquisite, unparalleled piece? Do you think this will happen? I swear it will not happen." The thrilling boy, the formidable beast, Vijay, arrives on the scene. His men, or his women, clear the way for him as he runs towards Ralph. Ralph's men try to stop him, but they can't. "Step aside, son. Who's next?" This son of a bitch comes and says, "I'll pay $1.5 million for her." He approaches her and is about to take her, but Vijay puts a bullet in his head. He finishes off Ralph's men and remains staring ahead at Shika as she says, "I kiss your hand, have mercy on me. Let me kiss your hand." Vijay reaches the peak of his anger and says, "Anything but this hand." Ralph says, "You are a treacherous dog, and I will not leave here until I sell this piece." He approaches her again. Vijay pushes him away and takes his sister in his arms and is about to leave with her, but Ralph says, "Give me the girl." Vijay pushes him away from her, and Ralph hits Vijay. Does Vijay remain silent? I swear it will not happen. Even though this son of a bitch was huge and fat, Vijay starts breaking his bones. He leaves him lying on the ground and was going to leave him alive and walk away, but the son of a bitch provokes him and utters obscene words about his sister. Vijay gets angry and runs towards him, grabs him by the neck and dunks his face in the water. His mother arrives on the scene and says, "No, Vijay, leave him." Shika asks her mother, "Tell me who this is. I must know now. Tell me who he is. Speak, say it." Ralph dies and the girl is still saying to her mother, "I kiss your hands. Tell me who he is." She tells her, "This is your brother." The two stand there in deep sorrow. Her mother takes her and leaves. The next day, Shika goes to Vijay's area. Kali sees her and tells a child, "Go and call Vijay and tell him that his sister Shika is waiting for you outside." The child takes the two words and keeps repeating them on his way so not to forget them. Everyone in the area learns that Shika is Vijay's sister, and everyone who knows runs to see Vijay's sister. They remain gathered around her until Vijay arrives. He stands before her for the first time as she knows he is her brother. He approaches her and remembers the days when he used to carry her as an infant. She approaches him and throws herself into his arms, and he holds her as if he owns the world in his hands. He hugs her and everyone sheds tears. He takes her out and makes up for all the years she lived away from him. At the end of the day, he takes her back to her home. Her mother is waiting for her outside. Shika gets out and her mother tells her, "Tell him to stay for dinner." Vijay says, "I just had dinner." She tells her, "Tell him I know he hasn't eaten anything yet." Vijay swallows and goes inside to sit at the table. He is about to drink water when Shika asks him, "Why are you going to drink water before eating?" He answers, "This is the blessing of the food." His mother says, "It's good that you still remember something of what you learned from the home you were born in." Shika tries to lighten the mood and says, "Right, tell me about father. I heard he loved you and always loved sitting with you." Her mother says, "Shut up and eat." Vijay says, "Why do you want to know about our father?" Shika says, "Everything. When I ask mom, she tells me he was a teacher in Mandwa and that we came to Mumbai after his death. That's all." Her mother says, "Eat in silence or I'll hit you with a plate." Vijay says, "And why would you hit her with a plate? She's asking about her father. Is that a shame or a sin?" Then he turns to Shika and says, "Your father was a very good man. Everyone swore by him. He was always on the side of the oppressed, a strength for the cowardly, a cure for the sick, water for the thirsty, and food for the hungry." His mother says, "I brought you here only to eat." He replies, "I am talking about the man who taught me how to eat. Your father died unjustly, and after serving everyone, no one walked in his funeral procession." His mother slaps him hard. He makes a sandwich, takes it, and goes out. He sits down to eat in front of the door. Kali says to him, "Don't be sad with her. She doesn't know how to express her love for you." He says, "My life has been wasted, Kali, and until now she doesn't know how to express her love. For 15 years I haven't eaten from her hands." He cries, his mother cries, and everyone is in deep sorrow. The next day, Surya goes to him and says, "You must kill the inspector before the festival," then leaves. Vijay goes to the inspector and tells him, "Be careful, Concha wants to kill you." The inspector replies, I'm not afraid of anyone. Vijay leaves him and walks away. Surya calls Kancha and tells him Vijay didn't kill the inspector. He went to his house, talked to him, and then left without killing him. Should I kill him, Chief? Kancha says, finish him. And indeed, the festival begins. And Surya starts looking for the inspector, but he finds Vijay in his way, and Vijay finishes him off. The police find out what happened, and the media talks about the crime. Vijay's mother sees Surya on the news and recognizes him. She goes to the police station and tells the assistant, I want to see the inspector immediately. He tells her, the inspector is not available. She says, I am Vijay's mother. I used to live in Mandwa, and this is Surya. I know him well. He says, all right, I understand, and lets her in to see the inspector. But this assistant is one of Kancha's men, so he calls him and tells him what happened. Kancha screams, Vijay is Demonath's son. His father is shocked and says, I had a feeling he was his son. He will come for revenge and kill us all. Kancha says, calm down, Dad. You can't even kill a fly. I'm the one who killed his father, not you. Don't worry, Vijay will die before he gets here. At that time, the inspector goes to Vijay, gives him Surya's picture, and says, I know this picture reminds you of your childhood. For 15 years, I've been investigating you and wanting to know what's in your head, and I finally understood. I want to know why you exploited Ralph Lalla and want to become the crime king of Mumbai, when that's not your goal at all. Your goal is Kancha, to reclaim your city of Mandwa and take your revenge, and at the same time, save the people from Kancha. I know you saved my life, but you shouldn't have killed Surya. Surya's death will make Kancha go crazy, and he won't let it slide easily. Vijay says, I know all of this. I saved your life, and that is a debt you owe me that you will repay later. The inspector leaves him and walks away. Kali enters, but stands in a corner and starts crying. He approaches her, and she hugs him and says, I knew the time was near. You will leave me and go. Don't worry, your mother and sister will be in my care. I will look after them, as you taught me how to do that well. I know that where you are going, your death awaits you there. But in any case, I am by your side, and for the rest of my life, I will stay by your side, and I will always love you, only you. She is about to leave him when he says to her, wait, this is my marriage piggy bank. Come, let's open my piggy bank and yours and see what the total will be. She becomes overjoyed, and indeed, they open the two piggy banks. The next day is their wedding. They get married and are on their way to their home, but suddenly, in the middle of the procession, men carrying weapons appear and kill the women in front of them. Vijay pulls out the toy pellet gun he has and, pew pew pew, takes them all out completely. And how naive of me to believe that. Anyway, he returns to find Kali soaked in her blood. He takes her in his arms and says, don't die, Kali. She tells him, forgive me, and falls down dead. Divorce her, Vijay. Divorce her, my brother. You told her not to die, and she died. She never listened from the beginning. Anyway, Kali dies, and Vijay lets out a hellish scream. At night, Kancha is waiting for the news of Vijay's death, but one of his men comes to him saying, Vijay killed our men, Chief. His father says, he will kill us. He must be coming now. And indeed, my friend, Vijay has arrived and takes out the first guard in the tower. By morning, he has finished his mission and blows up the watchtowers and Kancha's entire army outside. Kancha stands in shock, not believing what is happening. Vijay is sitting behind him and says, show me what you're going to do now, Kancha. Attacks him and lands a powerful punch. He's unaffected. This son of a bitch doesn't have a face. He put a rock in place of his face. Kancha was huge, and Vijay was no match for him. Kancha says, for 15 years I've been waiting for this moment, to hang you just like I hung your father back then. Vijay gets angry and attacks him, but he can't do anything. The son of a bitch is about to kill him, but his father comes running and tells him, I told you he would come to finish us. Kancha pushes him away, and the father falls, tumbling down the stairs, and doesn't get up again. Vijay seizes the opportunity and rains blows on him, but the rest of Kancha's men arrive. Vijay takes them down one by one, but Kancha stabs him in the back with a knife, then drags him by the neck and throws him next to his sister and mother, who are screaming at him. The son of a bitch starts slashing his back, then takes him outside and says, this dog must follow his father. The villagers had learned the truth after the injustice they saw from Kancha, but none of them dare to defend Vijay. His mother says to them, "I kiss your hands, help him. He risked his life and did the impossible to save you from this injustice." Vijay tells her, "The people who agreed to my father's unjust death will of course be afraid to help me." Kancha says, "They won't help you because from the beginning they chose the devil." He stabs him with another knife in his stomach, then ties him with the rope and drags him towards the tree just as he dragged his father before. As soon as Vijay reaches the tree, he plants his hands on 2 stones and Kancha starts pulling until the rope snaps. Vijay rises and delivers a final powerful punch that dazes him. The son of a bitch grabs him by the neck, but Vijay lifts him and throws him to the ground, then smashes his back with a large rock, breaking his bones. He ties the rope around his neck and pulls until he avenges his father, then screams at the top of his lungs, "Father!" His mother feels the fire inside her has been extinguished, and the villagers are overjoyed at Kancha's death. Vijay falls to the ground, and his sister and mother go to embrace him. He tells her, "Thus I have done my duty, mother." She tells him, "I never hated you for a day. I loved you with all my heart, and I thank God that you were my son in this life." He raises his head and sees his father before him, saying, "Come on, my son, come." He listens to his words and goes with him, my friend. And here the film ends. In the end, don't forget to show your support by liking the video and subscribing to the channel. By the way, there are exciting videos on the channel that you will like. And if you don't find your favorite movies, write the name of any film you love in a comment. And until next time, my friend,